Hey, are you here? Yes, indeed. This is, in fact, the Paul Leslie Hour. Welcome to it. And yes, this is episode number 1041. Now, we'd like to mention how much of a pleasure and honor it is to welcome back Toni Holt Kramer. Toni's a remarkable, kind, and patriotic woman. Her story could be described like this: from covergirl to reporter to author and founder of the Trumpettes. Toni lives an incredible life, but most of all, she's got a great perspective. And this episode is taking place at a remarkable time. Here we are, just one day from America's ultimate election. Tomorrow is Election Day, so please make plans to vote. And also, won't you subscribe to Paul's YouTube channel? And then tell someone you know about this interview. And with that, we are so pleased to be here again and hear from Toni Holt Kramer. Yes, indeed.
Hello.
Hi, Toni Holt Kramer. This is Paul Leslie.
Hello there, Paul Leslie. How are thee?
I am doing well, and I'm also pleased to announce that I'm recording this on 2 devices.
Well, that makes me breathe a little better.
Me too. Well, I'm so delighted. I have a huge smile on my face. I'm very glad that we get to have this interview airing the day before Election Day 2024.
Wow, that's even better than, you see, God makes us make mistakes sometimes because he didn't want it to record on Friday. He wanted everyone to hear it on Monday.
That is exactly right. Now, Toni Holt Kramer, I could say this about her. In a nutshell, from cover girl to reporter to author and founder of the Trumpettes, but there's a whole lot in between there. She's a marvelous communicator and has a great outlook on so many things. So it's the day before Election Day. How do you feel?
Positive. Super. Great. Think we are going to just smash it out of the park. That's if everybody who is listening who has not voted yet will get off their sweet little bottoms and go and vote. And if you know anyone, friend, family, business associate, I'll even say enemy, anybody you know who's breathing, who hasn't voted, make sure they hit that voting booth on Tuesday for President Trump, because I promise you, this country will never, ever recover from a Harris and Walz presidency, and God help us, vice presidency, who's even scarier than anybody.
That is the absolute truth. Now, I
mean,
hate to
really.
Yeah. Now, I hate to do this to anybody, but I'm going to ask. Use your imagination and imagine that Kamala Harris is president. What does that look like?
Well, it looks like a 1929 recession on my count. It looks like crime will escalate. We will, if you think we have really high prices in oil and food and everything now, I think you ain't seen nothing yet. Do I think that America will be in for any joy or any... I don't think you'll feel comfortable with doing anything because, number one, you're not going to have the money to do it. You know, everybody I have interviewed, and believe me, Paul, I talk to everyone. I have Trumpettes and Trumpsters not only throughout all of the United States, but in Australia, we have chapters there. In Europe, we have chapters there. I have people that have joined from places I didn't even know existed. So I'm telling you, people are don't underestimate. You know, the one area that bothers me is that there's an assumption that suburban housewives are stupid, that they're just going to go ahead and say, oh, let me see. Well, I don't like Trump. He said some bad words once. Or I don't like Trump because he's a little bold and a little bit crude at times. And then I think I better vote for Kamala. I've heard this crap. I think I better vote for her because it's a woman. Well, That may be true. She is a woman, I guess, but for sure. But the fact is that she's a Marxist woman, and she is a woman who will turn this country as socialistic, communistic, Marxist as you can ever imagine. Now, why do I say that? You could say to me, challenge me, Paul, challenge me. Why? Why am I saying that?
Why are you saying that?
Thank you. I was waiting for that. I'll tell you why. Because Kamala's father went to school, one of the best universities, to study Marxist economics. He then went forward after he graduated and taught. I know it's one of two universities that I can't remember. One was Berkeley and the other was Stanford. One of the two. Excellent schools, correct?
Correct.
And he taught Marxist economics. Her mother, she too was a Marxist. So you have to say, I am what I am. She was born, her first diaper was a Marxist feeling diaper. I mean, that when you learn something from the time you are born, and it's drilled into you because it is what it is. I mean, I think that the formative years, little children, babies, we don't even know what people know when babies are first born. That's why there are people that say there's so much buried in our subconscious, or even when people have accidents. You don't know what they really hear. They could be laying in the middle of a gutter having been run over, but you're not sure what they're absorbing. You really don't know. They may look like they're unconscious, God forbid, but what I'm saying is when you have been taught, when you have lived in a household of parents that you love and who love you, why aren't you going to believe that that's the right way to go? So it happens to be that it's not the right way to go because Marxism, communism really hasn't worked in any country so far. As the great Margaret Thatcher once said, Marxism, socialism, I think she said, communism works until you run out of everybody else's money. And I predict that if she gets in, that we will see a recession. I don't know how long it will take. Maybe it will be the first few months. Maybe it will be a year from now. I don't know. But she doesn't know diddly squat about the economy, and she doesn't know diddly squat about how to tell the truth. Because, look, she was, the border czar. That's what she was appointed. Everybody out there who heard that, say aye with me, will you please? Join the conversation. Just talk to yourself for a minute. Say yes.
Aye.
Because now she's denying that, and everyone around her is denying that she was the border czar. The reality is we had, 20 million illegal people come in? I'm all for having people come in from other countries, but doing it the right way. They supposedly emptied their prisons, their psychiatric hospitals, and sent those people to us. Thank you for your kindness, and thank you for screwing up America. We have higher crime than we have ever had. Girls, and another thing is, I have to say, I'm going to deviate for a minute. We have higher crime. We must not defund the police because, let me tell you, if you ever walk into your house and you're standing there and you have been robbed, who are you going to call? You're going to call the Marxist neighborhood folks, or are you going to call the police and say, I've been robbed, I'm really in trouble? I mean, this is a really dastardly event, what's happening. First of all, I'm furious that the president, with his background and what he has succeeded in doing, if you go back just about 4 years ago, we had a great economy. We did not have inflation. We had oil. We had so much oil, we could sell it and make money with it in this country. Now we have to buy our oil. We have to get our oil from Venezuela. And by the way, Venezuela's crime has never been lower, I hear, because all their criminals are here now.
Right.
So how do I feel about this election? I feel if you vote for Kamala, you deserve what you get. And that's it. I have no heart for you. I tell you the truth. I don't care whether you like Trump. I don't care if you hate Trump. I don't care if you think he's vulgar, crude, crass, and horrible. It doesn't matter. He is capable of doing a great job. We were in no wars 4 years ago. He had North Korea handled. He had Putin handled. He had everything. We will be out of all these wars. China being an adversary. Of course they don't want to see him back. Who wants to see somebody as tough, smart, and determined? You know, you have to remember, and everyone out there has to know, that the number one main thing is that Trump didn't need to do this.
Right.
He's a billionaire. He owns hotels, properties all over the world, and his passion is golf. But his bigger passion is America. And he has devoted the last 9 years of his life to saving America. And if the women, I hate to say this because I'm a woman, so it really sounds awful. But I hate to think that the suburban housewife is that emotional that she can't differentiate logic and emotion. Shame on you girls if you're out there and this hits home. I'm sorry, but I have to tell you, I have a lot of women with me all over the world, and they are Trumpettes, and they are not weak. They are not stupid. They are intelligent, bright, and caring people. And I have to tell you, it is just horrendous to me to even think that anybody could cast a vote for Kamala. I never knew that you actually promoted people for doing a crappy job.
Great point. Great point. Well, as you mentioned, Donald Trump, he doesn't have to be doing this. But
no, not at all.
Not at all.
I don't have to be doing it either.
Right. You don't have to.
No, I mean, I've worked. I've made my place. My husband and I have worked hard all of our lives. And I don't have to do this. I don't take a salary for what I do, by the way. I work completely pro bono. I am completely only dedicated to each and every one of your audience, each and every household in America, each and every child in America, because I don't want to see children brought up with the kind of terrible hatred that has been breeding in this country the last few years. I don't want to hear about children at 6 or 8 years old changing their sex. You want to change your sex when you're 21 or 22 or 25 and you know what you want? Hey, that's it. But I'll tell you one thing I don't want to do. I don't want to pay with my taxes, or any of yours, ladies, particularly, I'm listening. Paul, I'm dedicating this to the intelligent women in America. I'm dedicating this. You know, would you like to think that your tax money is going to pay for sex changes in prison of prisoners, people who have been found guilty of a crime, and you're going to get a sex change for free on the house with your money, my money, and everyone else's money that we work for? That woman is off the rails. If you can vote for her, you know, and you think that that's the right thing to do, ladies, are you listening to me? If you are, I love you all. Just use your logic. Don't lose. I hate what Julia Roberts said the other day. You know, she used to be somebody who I looked up to and thought, what a great actress, what a great gal, what a great person. She diminished in my mind when she said something, I hope I'm not misquoting, but something about, ladies, when you go in the voting booth, you don't have to tell your husband, well, we're going to promote lying to our husbands. I don't think that's a good place to start from. You know, you can vote for Harris and nobody has to know. You know, your husband doesn't have to know. I mean, what kind of, excuse the expression, what kind of crap is that?
Yeah. Yeah, it's terrible. It's just terrible. To sink so low to try to divide a household, it's just nuts.
If you lie to if you get used to lying to your husband, believe me, when he finds out, your husband will start lying to you.
Yeah, that's an excellent point.
Yes, it's true, because he won't trust you. You know, the most major thing we have, all of us, no matter what our economic or work ethic is or whatever, we have one thing. We all want the same thing. Really, we do. We all want to have a nice roof over our head, the best that we can afford. We don't want to have to work 2 or 3 jobs for what we lived on and had comfort 4 years ago with one job. I have people working for me that are working 3 jobs. And I go, why? They said, because we just can't make it anymore. Go to the grocery store. I mean, go here, go there. You can't do it. You know, when my housekeeper goes to the gas station on her own, you know, of course, when she goes and she's doing errands for me, I pay for it. But when she goes on her own, she said she can only buy 2 or 3 gallons at a time.
Yeah.
That's not the way we should. America was the most premier country in the world. Everybody wanted to come here to find their way, their riches, a new way of life, to be able to succeed. The American dream. The American dream. That's what America was, and it will be again under President Donald John Trump. And that's right. That's my dog Stormy, and I'll tell you, he's now impossible. He did a television show with me over the week, this past few days, which will be airing tonight, actually, in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. And they used him in the closing shot. Well, ever since that moment, he has just said, well, he always knew that he loved a camera. I guess he really is my child, you know. I have to say, he really is my child. He loves a camera, and oh my goodness, when I had him watch. They came over, the people very sweet, and they showed me what was going to air tonight in Europe, and then I'll get the video after it's all done. And by the way, they were so happy they booked me for next week too. Oh. And here is the thing, that number one, and most of all, think of your life. Ladies, think of what you were able to buy at the boutique. Think of what you were able to buy at the supermarket. Think what you were able to do with your children, maybe those piano lessons or soccer lessons or whatever the heck it is that your kids were interested in, all of which is very important, because we only have children for a very short time. Then they grow up and become adults. So we have to give them the knowledge. We really do have to give them our help in every which way. We can't just leave it go to a bunch of BS advertising that Kamala is going to make the country great again. Well, if she was going to make it great again, she had 4 years in the last 4 years to make it great again, or at least attempt to make it great again. She did nothing about the border. And I promise you, she will do nothing about the border if she's elected. And you will just keep seeing more and more crime. You will just be seeing more and more hatred. You will just be seeing more and more poverty and more inflation. So, ladies, unite. It costs nothing to join the Trumpettes USA. Go online, put Trumpettes USA, and if you don't want to post your picture or your bio, if you don't even want your name to be, you just say, no, don't want to be public. We have a whole thing that says, you know, what you want to do. If you join, we're just happy to have you. And the reason is because the bonus that doesn't cost anybody anything, Paul, is that we send them. I have my wonderful Jose, who sends out all of the emails and all the different presentations we do. He sends it ahead of time to all the people that are the Trumpettes and Trumpsters around the world.
That's right.
You know, yes, it is. It's true.
And it's
And
Trumpettes USA.
That's correct.
Well, I can tell you, I have met people from around the world through Trumpettes. And
You bet.
Absolutely. And I can also testify that you all throw a party like nobody else in the world.
Oh, my God. The president has been at most of them. We do an annual. We only didn't do it for a few years when they had COVID because we didn't want to pack. People come to attend that. He hasn't even won yet, but I'm sold out for the event. I'm telling you, I'm sold out. People have said, please, the minute your tickets go on sale, I want them. Now, the last event we had the president, God bless him, Melania, the most wonderful, wonderful first lady I've ever known. And I've known many of them. I was friends with Betty Ford. I was very close friends with Hillary. So I know a lot of first ladies. I'm telling you, we have a great first lady in Melania. People have to give her a chance. You know, it was so cruel that they never put her a model. And speaks 5 languages. She raised a great son. She is the mother du jour. And nevertheless, they wouldn't put her on the cover of any of the big fashion magazines. They put Jill Biden, and that's fine. I mean, Jill Biden deserves to be on the cover, well, I guess. Why not? She's been in public eye for many years. Why not? But you don't have to hate somebody because they're on the other side, Paul. You just have to know how you want to live under what kind of governance, what kind of government do you want to live under? And if you really want to live under a socialist, communist, Marxist government, you want to have inflation, probably a 1929 depression in the next couple of years or so. If you want to not be able to feel safe walking down the street. I mean, I have a girlfriend that was walking down the street in New York, minding her own business last month. And some guy came out of nowhere and just socked the hell out of her jaw. I cleaned that one up quick. I mean, that's really true. I mean, these are terrible things.
Yeah, awful.
They didn't even know her. So I say, my home is in Palm Beach, Florida. I'm very happy to be here because there are many people here that are like-minded and care about this country. I also have an old vacation home, and I only go there for a couple of months a year in Palm Springs. But interesting, it was built by some of the same artisans that built Mar-a-Lago. My property is nearly 100 years old. And when I go there, what's really interesting is I do come across people who are not for Trump. And you know what I do? I invite them over. I talk to them. I spend time with them. And I don't know, but I have to assume that giving people information that's true, not BS, I mean, did you notice? I mean, where have you seen Kamala's plan for what she's going to do? I mean, right now it's all about, if she and Walz didn't have Trump to pick on, they wouldn't have anything to say.
Yeah.
Because they have no plan. And everything that he has said, or many things that he has said, have all turned out to be lies. I mean, if God forbid something happened, if she was elected, God forbid, everybody turned 3 times around to the right and 1 time to the left to make sure it doesn't happen. But the reality is that if she were to become president and anything happened to him, can you imagine that self-admitted nincompoop, or what did he call himself? Something like that. Would be running our country?
Oh, gosh.
I mean, think about that.
Knucklehead. That was it.
Knucklehead. Well, hey, I'm going to give him the crown. I will be happy when this election is over to have a crown made called Knucklehead, and I will send it to him from the Trumpettes with our appreciation for not making it.
Just make sure to take a picture before you send it.
Oh, I will. I will. Believe me. Everything I do is always online. That's why I tell everybody, we're on Rumble, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. Instagram's a wonderful place. X, we're on Elon's place. And we're on everything that Truth Social. We're on everything that is communicative. That's why we have so many members all over the world, because when I started out, I think I told you this ages ago, or maybe in the last garbled interview, that when we started, I only wanted to do a Palm Beach to Miami event. Let's just get a truck and let's put Trump on it. Just small. I mean, after all, I retired. I've worked all my life. I've done almost 4,000 interviews. Name any Hollywood celebrity that I haven't interviewed, and you will not. I mean, outside of really a handful of major stars, I can tell you who I haven't interviewed as opposed to who I have. I've interviewed the one and only great Clint Eastwood. I've interviewed every major star. The only one I haven't interviewed, truly, is Barbra Streisand. And for some reason, I find I can live without that. I have to tell you, I call all these people that come out for people that, when you can't pay your bills. My housekeepers that I have that come in, she comes in, Jessica, 3 days a week. She's working 3 other jobs. Come on.
Yeah.
And she's brilliant. She's great. She didn't have to do that. 4 years ago, she had 2 jobs, myself and my girlfriend, Shirley, who was kind enough to share her with me 10 years ago. So I'm telling you, Paul, we are head, and if these women, if they are the deciding factor, ladies, stand up, put your bosoms out, put your chin up high, and just say, I may not like him, but he will save our country. That's it.
You put it so well. Well, Toni Holt Kramer, such a pleasure. You are a very kind person, and I thank you for your generosity in spending time with my listeners and I. And I know that
I'm thrilled.
Thank you.
I'm thrilled, Paul. I think you are one of the best people in the media. I'm so proud always to be invited on your show, and I will never, ever turn you down. And I suggest you call me next week after all the things come in, and I'll tell you what's going to happen next.
I think that sounds like a wonderful plan. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think so. Okay.
All right. Well, I can't wait to, in closing here, I have to end on this. I love poodles, and so I can't wait to see Stormy. I know he's a very smart boy, and he is from South Carolina, right, where I am right now?
He's from Carolina Poodle Rescue, and yeah. I got Judge Janine. I hooked her up with them a few years ago, and she's gotten 3 wonderful standard poodles from them, and they are the most kind and terrific people. I love Tri-County. I'm an animal person, I mean, dogs they love you unconditionally.
Yeah.
And you love them unconditionally. So all I can say to you is Stormy is ending the show in Germany, Switzerland, and Austria tonight. I saw the video today. They were kind enough to show it to me. And I said, oh, God, there'll be no living with him after this. He never saw a camera he didn't love.
Oh. Well,
Paul,
give him
thank
a hug
you so much.
Thank you. God bless you, Toni.
God bless you, Paul, and God bless all your listeners. And ladies, stick with me. I won't lead you astray, I promise you. Stay with me. Join me. If you don't want to join me, just stay with me. Just look at your lives and stay with President Trump. Go vote tomorrow. Pull everyone by the ear that you have to and get them to vote for President Trump.
Everybody out there, listen to Toni Holt Kramer.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank
And
you.
hey, good night, everybody. Have a wonderful evening, a wonderful day tomorrow. Don't forget to vote on Tuesday.
Do not forget to vote. All right.
Thank
you so
you,
much.
Paul.
Thank
Hope to
you.
talk to you soon. Thank you.
Hope to talk to you soon. Have a great night.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you for stopping by today. If you enjoyed our program, consider telling a friend about it. The Paul Leslie Hour is made possible through people just like you. So you want to keep the show going, right? Go to thepaulleslie.com. That's thepaulleslie.com. Click on Support the Show. And thanks to everyone who contributes. Performance of the intro music is courtesy of John Primorano, The Entertainer, written by Scott Joplin. End credit theme music is courtesy of John Primorano, the traditional song Corina Corina. Your announcer is Dan Gold. Hey, that's me. The show is hosted and produced by Paul Leslie. And we'll see you next time on the Paul Leslie Hour.